Welcome to this MTSS Vlogcast series. I'm Lisa Collins, one of the co-founders of MTSS, and I'm delighted to be joined by Deep Kambe, who is the founder of Regenerating Business. Today we are going to be taking a look at that grand old word of greenwashing. So Deep, greenwashing is something that I think puts fear into everybody out there. Just talk us through a little bit about what greenwashing is and some examples if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So greenwashing is quite a taboo topic. It's the word companies fear a lot right now. So it's kind of moving in from kind of let's make claims that we can't evidence to we're not going to tell anyone about anything we're doing in the kind of the climate space, environment, impact or whatsoever, because we're too scared to be scrutinized if we mess up on anything, or there's just a lot of kind of fear, I think, around it. And this is one of the reasons why regulation has become, ESG has become more mandatory in regulations, is to remove kind of greenwash from any campaigns, communications that a business puts out kind of to its customer base. And what it really means is a company putting a statement out there to tell companies about the impact or reduction, like climate reduction impact that they've created or they've been able to achieve, but without substantiating it with anything, essentially. So it's like, for example, an advert that is selling, I don't know, fabric conditioner or cleaner, and all you see in this advert is kids in a playground playing and picking up rubbish. It's insinuating that the company is eco-friendly, but the action in the advert has got nothing to do with the product. So it's kind of misleading your customer to making assumptions about your brand, your product, your service, but not necessarily substantiating it with any evidence.
And are there examples out there of companies that have got it wrong?
Yeah, and unfortunately, there have been quite a number of companies that have got it wrong, and sometimes not always, in a deceiving way, just maybe not in an informed way. And the result of that, kind of in combination with kind of mandatory regulations coming into place, is that we're seeing more and more litigation cases. So companies are being penalised because of the way they may be communicating or putting statements out to their customer base. One example I found really interesting was HSBC. So in 2022, they put a advert out in the UK and they were talking about how they are funding the climate kind of reduction, the climate change crisis. They are funding to improve that. But actual fact that, the facts were that they are the 13th largest funder for fossil fueled companies. And so it was misleading the customer that, that they're not the main funder of, reducing climate impacts. They're actually, they're funding quite the opposite. I know that they're making lots of changes now, but the result was that their ad was banned. So back in 2022. Now, one more recent in a very different industry, just to give you like a more, how it's showing up in different industries, is an airline, Delta Airlines. Last year, they claimed they were the first carbon neutral airline in the marketplace by pledging to invest $1 billion in carbon offsets. And it's the people in the California state, in the USA, that have taken a class action against them. I think it's a class action against them, and taking them down the litigation route that they are false claims. The outcome is still ongoing, so not really sure how that's going to manifest itself, but it's really interesting to see how, you know, these things are coming more and more litigious, and so companies are having to be very careful with how they tell their stories and share their claims.
And clearly we want people to be telling their stories, because for us as a world to move forward in sustainability, we need to be sharing best practice. And what we're seeing, maybe because there is lots of scaremongering out there, is the green hushing. What advice would you give to companies that are doing really great things amongst ESG and sustainability to push their stories out there so they're transparent and they're correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's about verification, just verifying the evidence and making sure you can back your claims. And if you can, you'll have nothing to worry about. Shout about it, tell your story. And I think this industry, you know, the broadcasting, media, tech, entertainment industry is such a powerful industry to be telling these stories in. And I think it's a huge opportunity for the industry to embrace. It's just about thinking things through and making sure that you can evidence what you're saying.
You're being accurate and you're not exaggerating at all.
Yes, absolutely, or misleading or diverting away from the truth.
Deep as always, informative, lots to think on there. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on our next episode.